Dr. Mary Pardee opens the discussion by emphasizing the critical role of bone health in aging well, particularly focusing on osteoporosis prevention. She highlights that osteoporosis is often misunderstood as a disease of old age, but in reality, it is largely a condition rooted in early life. The foundation of bone density is built during childhood, adolescence, and young adulthood, making these formative years crucial for long-term skeletal health. Dr. Pardee stresses that while fractures and frailty become concerns later in life, the groundwork for strong bones must be laid much earlier. A key tool in assessing bone health is the DEXA scan, a dual-energy X-ray absorptiometry test that measures bone density, especially in the lumbar spine and hips. Dr. Pardee explains that this scan is not necessary for everyone, but is highly recommended for women over 65 or postmenopausal women with risk factors such as long-term steroid use, history of fractures, or low body weight. The scan provides a T-score that compares an individual's bone density to that of a healthy young adult, helping to identify osteopenia or osteoporosis early. Early detection allows for timely interventions, including lifestyle changes and medical treatments, to prevent debilitating fractures that significantly increase mortality risk in older adults. The conversation then shifts to grip strength, a simple yet surprisingly informative measure often used in clinical settings. Dr. Pardee explains that while grip strength itself may not directly extend lifespan, it serves as a practical proxy for total body strength, which is strongly linked to longevity and functional independence. Since comprehensive strength testing is not always feasible in a typical medical office, grip strength offers an accessible way to gauge muscular health and predict frailty risk. However, Dr. Pardee cautions against focusing solely on grip strength exercises, such as using hand grippers, as these do not translate into overall strength gains. Instead, she advocates for whole-body resistance training that naturally improves grip strength alongside broader muscular development. She also addresses skepticism from experts who prioritize cardiorespiratory fitness over grip strength, clarifying that both strength and aerobic capacity are important but serve different roles in predicting health outcomes. One of the most compelling predictors of lifespan discussed is VO2 max, which measures the maximum oxygen uptake during intense aerobic exercise. Dr. Pardee describes VO2 max testing as an intense but informative procedure that can be performed on a treadmill or bike, gradually increasing intensity until exhaustion. This metric reflects the efficiency of the heart, lungs, and muscles in oxygen utilization, making it a gold standard for assessing cardiovascular fitness. The significance of VO2 max lies in its strong correlation with mortality risk. Even modest improvements from low to below average fitness levels can have the risk of all-cause mortality. Dr. Pardee emphasizes that maintaining or improving VO2 max through consistent aerobic exercise, including both steady-state cardio and high-intensity interval training, IT, builds a vital buffer against age-related declines and health setbacks. While wearable devices now estimate VO2 max, she notes that these are not always accurate, and formal testing remains the best way to obtain precise data. Dr. Pardee expresses skepticism about the current utility of longevity testing, particularly epigenetic clocks that claim to measure biological age. Despite the growing popularity of these tests, she warns that they lack reproducibility and clinical relevance at this time. Different companies often produce varying results for the same individual, leading to confusion rather than actionable insights. She advises the public to be wary of spending money on these tests, which she categorizes as an F in terms of practical value. While she acknowledges that the field of epigenetics is rapidly evolving and may yield useful tools in the future, the current generation of biological age tests is more of a marketing gimmick than a reliable health assessment. Dr. Pardee encourages focusing on proven lifestyle interventions rather than chasing unvalidated biomarkers. Cardiovascular disease remains the leading cause of death worldwide, and Dr. Pardee underscores the importance of regular lipid testing as a cornerstone of preventive health. She advocates for a full lipid panel, including advanced markers like ApoB, to better assess heart disease risk beyond traditional cholesterol numbers. This testing is especially critical for individuals with risk factors or family history. The discussion touches on controversial studies involving ketogenic and carnivore diets, where some metabolically healthy individuals exhibited high ApoB levels and plaque progression despite favorable metabolic markers. Dr. Pardee cautions against assuming that such diets are harmless in the long term, comparing it to smoking. Just because not everyone develops lung cancer doesn't mean smoking is safe. She shares her personal experience managing elevated ApoB with medication and lifestyle changes, emphasizing the importance of a comprehensive approach to cardiovascular risk reduction. Physical activity is a recurring theme, with Dr. Pardee ranking various forms of movement according to their impact on longevity. While 10,000 steps per day is a popular goal, she assigns it a B grade, noting that it may not be feasible or the most efficient form of exercise for everyone. She highlights that vigorous activity, even in short bursts, can provide greater health benefits and mortality reduction than simply accumulating steps. Strength training, however, receives an S for supreme importance. Dr. Pardee stresses that resistance exercise is one of the most effective ways to improve lifespan and quality of life by preserving muscle mass, bone density, and metabolic health. She also discusses the use of weighted vests as a tool to increase exercise intensity, particularly for those who prefer walking or hiking over running. While not essential, weighted vests can help individuals achieve higher resistance levels without additional impact. Dr. Pardee highlights the value of tracking both workouts and dietary intake as essential habits for those serious about improving health and longevity. For individuals new to exercise, any movement is beneficial, but as fitness improves, tracking becomes crucial to ensure progressive overload and continued gains. Without tracking, many people plateau, repeating the same routines without measurable improvement. Similarly, dietary tracking, especially calorie counting, is highly effective for weight management, particularly in overweight or obese individuals. Dr. Pardee ranks calorie tracking as an S for those needing weight loss, while macro tracking, especially protein intake, is an A for optimizing muscle maintenance and metabolic health. She cautions that tracking may not be suitable for everyone, especially those with a history of disordered eating, and encourages a balanced, individualized approach. When discussing dietary patterns, Dr. Pardee champions the Mediterranean diet as a top-tier choice for longevity and disease prevention. Supported by extensive research, this diet emphasizes fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and clean proteins, and is associated with significant reductions in frailty and cardiovascular risk. While other diets may have therapeutic roles, the Mediterranean diet's robust evidence base makes it a reliable recommendation for most people. The conversation also covers GLP-1 receptor agonists, a class of medications gaining popularity for weight loss and metabolic health. Dr. Pardee supports their use in overweight or obese individuals with comorbidities, rating them as an A or S depending on the case. However, she advises caution in prescribing these drugs for normal weight individuals seeking cosmetic weight loss, assigning a lower grade due to unknown long-term effects and potential risks. Dr. Pardee offers a measured perspective on popular wellness trends like sauna use and cold plunging. While sauna bathing has some cardiovascular benefits, she ranks it a C, emphasizing that exercise and movement far outweigh its impact. Cold plunging receives a D, valued more for its mental health and social benefits than for longevity. She notes that if these practices motivate people to be more active or improve mood, they can be worthwhile additions, but should not replace foundational health habits. Community and social connection, however, earn an A for their profound influence on both mental and physical health. Dr. Pardee stresses that strong social ties improve lifespan and quality of life, and that positive peer influences can reinforce healthy behaviors. She encourages cultivating supportive relationships as a key component of aging well. Stress management is another critical factor in longevity, with Dr. Pardee placing stress reduction strategies, including meditation, in the A to B+ range. She acknowledges that while meditation is beneficial, it is not a one-size-fits-all solution, and that individuals should find stress relief methods that resonate with them personally. For some, exercise, socializing, or even brief mindfulness practices during moments of crisis may be more effective. Dr. Pardee shares her own approach, which includes walking and occasional meditation, emphasizing the importance of self-awareness in choosing coping mechanisms. She also references research on eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, and the calming effects of forward movement, illustrating how physical activity can serve as a natural stress reliever. Addressing women's health, Dr. Pardee discusses hormone replacement therapy, HRT, as a nuanced intervention that can range from highly beneficial to less impactful, depending on the individual. She highlights its effectiveness in managing menopausal symptoms like hot flashes and night sweats, improving sleep quality, and preventing osteoporosis. However, she cautions against viewing HRT as a universal fountain of youth, noting that benefits vary and long-term data on longevity effects remain inconclusive. Screening remains vital for women's health, with mammograms, pap smears, and colonoscopies forming the backbone of preventive care. Dr. Pardee also touches on the limitations of whole-body MRIs, which often yield incidental findings that can cause anxiety and unnecessary procedures. She advocates for targeted imaging and personalized screening strategies based on risk factors and individual health profiles. Gut health is a common concern, and Dr. Pardee differentiates between clinically useful tests and those she considers premature or misleading. Breath tests for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth have clear diagnostic value and are part of her clinical toolkit. In contrast, comprehensive stool microbiome analyses offered by many commercial companies are currently unreliable and lack actionable outcomes. She explains that the gut microbiome's complexity and variability make it difficult to define a normal profile, and current tests often produce inconsistent results. Dr. Pardee warns that these tests can lead to confusion, unnecessary treatments, and wasted resources. She remains optimistic about future advances, but advises patients to focus on proven interventions rather than unvalidated testing. Finally, Dr. Pardee addresses supplementation, emphasizing that while some supplements have evidence-based benefits, none replace foundational lifestyle habits. She rates commonly used supplements like creatine monohydrate, whey protein, psyllium husk, and vitamin D as generally beneficial, but assigns them a C grade, reflecting moderate impact compared to exercise and diet. Fish oil supplementation is nuanced. Dr. Pardee prefers whole fish consumption due to additional nutrients and potential mercury concerns, but supports fish oil for those who do not eat fish regularly. Magnesium supplementation is considered on a case-by-case basis, given widespread dietary insufficiency but variable individual needs. She advises against routine multivitamins for healthy individuals, reserving them for those with malabsorption or specific deficiencies.